Hello there, gamers everywhere. I'm Swip92, and oh boy, after let's see, one, two, three, four, yeah, four playthroughs of Dragon Age: The Veilguard, I did the shortest playthrough now. With my goal was to get the worst ending I could possibly get, and I think I succeeded. I think I got the worst ending you could possibly get in the game. It's not too hard, it's actually very fast and very easy to do. Just ignore everything except for the main quest. Even ignore the companion quests and even the sad companion quest of the stolen griffins. Almost breaks my heart a little bit. hmm I do like the side quests in Dragon Age: The Veilguard, mostly because they're actually part of the main story. Now, I'm gonna get in. Of course, this is major spoilers for the end game and like the story, but let's just talk a little bit here because I'm gonna get into this. I'm gonna show you each character's death, the companion death, and then of course I'm gonna show you the final fight, not the complete final fight with the final things before the end credits. Let's get into the characters first, and then after the end scene has played, then we can talk about the end scene. But let's get into the characters first. Now, I will be going through the characters as in the order they died. So we're gonna start off with the most obvious one, if you have played the game. Now, closed right after the point of no return quest that you start, where the big bads do the eclipse ritual, and they want to complete the dagger and all that, you get to choose which one of your companions, or which one of Harding or Davern is gonna go and lead the other secondary team, while you lead, well, your little team of three. Now, of course, the one you pick will be the one that dies in that quest. For me, I picked Davrin, mostly because I knew that he was gonna die, but I also knew that he would be the most useful companion later down the road. Because after you have done this quest and killed Gillenane, you will get you go to the other city, Minrathous, and in Minrathous you will get to choose which of your companions will do different objectives. And honestly, I think Davrin is the one that suits all assignments very well. He's a good protector. He's a good protector, so he can definitely help the the veil jumpers with the ward. He's a good fighter, so he can definitely fight in open battles. He's a Grey Warden, and I'm sure he could do very well against the big Titan enemy that's there as well. Although we'll get to that part in a bit. Now, after Davrin, it is where I started choosing out, handing out the assignments for the last mission, and on purpose, I chose the least suitable characters for the job. So the first one you get to choose is which one is gonna protect the veil jumpers while they disable the shield, basically. And I chose Lucanis for that mission because Lucanis is a He's not a mage, so he has no experience with magical wards, and he's an assassin who works alone, so he has no real experience of protecting others in battle. So I chose him. And as none of my companions have done I have not done the companions quest line. None of them are a hero of the Veilguard. So I chose Lucanis for that assignment because I thought he was the one most likely to really fail at that. Harding, perhaps. Emric, maybe, but he's a mage. Same with Nev. Tash, well, she does have more experience protecting others as she has actually worked in a teams before. And after that, the mage that controls Titan, basically. And you want someone who is experienced fighting mages or attacking by surprise. Now the obvious one would be Lucanis, but I chose Harding for this because she has not much experience fighting mages and attacking by surprise. Sure, she has a bow, but I chose her anyway. And then after that, there's the big Titan, or whatever they call it. And for this, they wanted someone who is experienced with fighting massive enemies or constructs. And well, I chose Nev for that because she has no experience with that. And then Emric and Tash was the ones who came with me during my quest, or during while I went in the city. And Nev was the second companion to die. She died after, you could say, blocking, I guess, or directing the Titan's attack towards somewhere else. And the building started collapsing and she was crushed by the rubble. Now, ordinarily, every companion I have ever done that with has actually been crushed by the rubble. Well, not crushed, but she has definitely taken the rubble on them, but they have always survived. But I have mostly chosen someone who is experienced with big enemies. Plus, I have also they have also always been hero of the Veilguard, which I think is the essentials to survive that ordeal, to be a hero of the Veilguard. So she got crushed, and after her, let's see. Yeah, it was Harding that died, the little dwarf scout. She died from I guess you could call it a shockwave. She was fighting that mage that I sent her on. For some reason that mage is fighting with her staff instead of actually using magic, but I guess she could be just drained or something. Either way, there's this little shockwave between those two, and the mage got hit into the wall and gets just damaged, but Harding actually dies. Once I actually sent Tash on this one, and she has no experience fighting mages or hitting from surprise, but she actually survived that ordeal. So again, I think that has to do with the hero of the Veilguard thing. But yep, there she is, dead. Harding dead. Yep. Sorry. And let's see. The next one to die was actually Emric. This came after after you come to that point right before you go up go up to the last boss kind of citadel, Archon's Palace, I think it's called. Yeah, Archon's Palace. Before you climb up there, you get to choose which companion is gonna stay behind and help the last defenders, the last people alive, to defend you and all that against a horde of enemies. And they wanted someone who is experienced with fighting on frontline combat or sieges. And I chose Emric, and he has no experience with that, and that shows. Of course, I have before I actually chose, in a previous one, I actually chose Belara for this assignment. She died too. But I wanted to try it just to see if that worked, because in that one she was a hero of the Veilguard. In this one, Emric is not a hero of the Veilguard and he has no experience with that. But Belara also died, just like he did. Although there is one fault with this death, both for Balara and Emric. They're both mages. They're both mages, but they still choose to pick up a sword that's lying on the ground in this cutscene where they die instead of actually using magic, which I think is just, I would say preposterous, but it's just, it looks kind of stupid. Before I have used Tosh for this, and I think I've used Davern once as well. Of course, they work perfectly for this. Now, the next one to die was Balara, and she died because she was the one I chose for disabling that ward or that thing earlier on, and so she became trapped by Elgar'nan and became his puppet to control all of those vines and all that. So she stepped onto his throne and started controlling the vines, and then she dies from that. Ordinarily, uh, she gets wrapped around with the vines, then she's basically dead. This also happens in the normal story, but in the normal story where you have a hero of Veilguard and a good story ending, they actually break out of that, well, wrapping, and it basically turns stone and then they break out. She did not. She died. Yep. Sorry? Again? Okay, let's moving on to the last deaths. Now, the ones I had with me fighting against Elgar'nan was Tash and Lucanis, and I mean, it's not the perfect combo, but anyway, let's move on to their deaths. Now, their deaths did not come at Elgar'nan's hand. This is what I kind of mean by this story doesn't have the ultimate evil ending where the evil actually wins, because you'll get to see here that after Elgar'nan is killed, of course, the veil that separates the world of the living and the world of the dead, dreamland and demons, is opened. And Solas, of course, wants to take the knife and open it and complete the ritual. The ritual he started at the beginning of the game. And normally you get to choose what to do here. You get to choose between either 2 different things or 3 different things if you have completed a certain side objective. But you normally get to choose if you want to fight him or if you want to trick him with a fake knife. I have done both of those before, but I did not get to choose here. I had the fake knife, you'd get it through the story earlier on, but I did not get to choose that. I didn't get any options at all. Suddenly, my character was just lying there, and then suddenly it cut to the cutscene where Solas overpowers you, takes the knife, and is about to complete the ritual. I have done this one before, where he does that, when I choose to fight him. But normally you get companions rushing in and helping you fight him, and then you overpower him and you succeed. This time, however, he turned both my companions, Tash and Lucanis, to stone and then stabs me, or my character. Now, our goal with this blue knife was to get his blood on the knife and then so that his blood would be used to seal the veil again, so that no demons would come through. And considering he was bleeding all over and I think he got cut or something, but anyway, his blood gets on the knife as well, not just mine, and as, well, you can see by the cutscene here.
It is. Because it's not just my blood on that dagger. No! You were never ready to make the sacrifices that leadership requires.
'Tis done at far too high a price.
It's a pretty good cutscene, and
Be
I
ready.
do
The
like this
ritual
ending.
to
It's
reap the
pretty
benefit
cool.
draw the snare's
Although
attention.
I
We don't need
am
any more
a little bit
Volturi.
dissatisfied that
I
it
need to
wasn't
keep
the
them
ultimate
occupied while
bad
I work.
ending that, like the blight, this blight, or the Solas actually succeeds. That he would kill me, toss me aside, and just complete the ritual. And I mean, it would be interesting to see what would happen if he actually succeeded.
Here's the
What
letter.
would their version, BioWare's version of success in that be? Because Solas does repeat all over and over in the story that he was gonna minimize the damage.
Volturi brought demons.
But as I said, it is a bit too bad that there isn't an ultimate bad ending. Man, I am satisfied with this ending. It was pretty cool. I liked having this really bad ending where everyone just dies, and well, I mean, us, the characters, are actually just we are celebrated as heroes in the end, but we're all dead. The game even lectures you basically that with more preparations, everyone could have survived. But yeah, I liked it. Now there was one, the story. I want to just say this: the story mainly plays out exactly the same, except for the all the deaths, of course. But except for that, the story does play out just like a more complete run, a more 60-hour run instead of this 10-hour run at most. I think it took less than 10 hours to complete this, and that's with, of course, skipping all the cutscenes and just jumping through dialogues and all that. So that just tells you how much dialogue and cutscenes there are, and side quests, and side paths, and things to explore. Wow, there's a lot. I did enjoy that while playing the first and second time. Third time it became a little bit one-sided. Anyway, there was one thing that that I really liked is that bit right before you get to
We've got
climb
to
up
fix
that
this city.
climb up to the
Talk to
Archon's
me.
palace, you
I
can
am so
actually go
sorry.
into a room which is sort of a side
It should have
quest
been me.
thing where you get to mourn the
How will
dead,
you
where you get
put
to
this affair
step into
to
a room where
rest?
the dead are having like a
Those
resting
who
place.
fell may
And
repeat
there's
if
actually
you
your
wish to.
companions and one other important character, Strife, from the game is actually lying there with like their weapons and such on their bodies. They're under blankets, but either way, it's still a pretty powerful scene, and I like that. I like that detail. I like that they actually implemented that into that. I figured they would, but I wanted to know how it would look, and it would be kind of nice to see what it would look like with different companions lying there. That might be something that I might try to do because the game has an awesome kind of autosave where it does autosave right before the point of no return. So you can actually go back and just do it all over again, over and over and over. Well, other than that, I don't think there is any more about this worst ending. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I like it. Saying that I like it might sound a little bit weird, but I do enjoy this different ending. It's very different from all the others. All the four different endings that I have experienced are quite different from one another. They're all of them have this same kind of happy ending for the world overall, but they're all also very different from one another. Therefore, the characters involved in the main plot. So I do enjoy that, and I do enjoy having experienced them, even if it has taken me over 130 hours, which I could have minimized by just doing this, going back with the same character and doing different choices each time anyway. But nah, I wanted to experience the different classes and different builds, and I'm glad I did actually. It's not the perfect Dragon Age game, not by a long shot. I have over 130 hours in this game, but I still have a lot more in Dragon Age Origins, if you count all the times I've played it on my PlayStation 3 back in the day when it came out. Anyway, that's been me. I've been Swippy92. Have a great life and hope to see you in future videos. Bye bye. Whew.